I published a history of Spider-Man's film rights a while back, about a year ago. A link to it you can find here and in the description. So check that out, and we'll pick up the story just a few months ago with all that backstory already being told. Today we have a rather explosive scoop from Lords of the Longbox, Mr. Mikey Sutton, along with 3 Buck Theater. But before we begin, I do want to thank you for watching JLO's Comics, whether it's your first time here or you're back for more. Don't forget to share this and subscribe so you don't miss all of our videos we make each and every week, just like this one. So let's get on to the scoops. In August of 2019, fans opened their news feeds and blog posts to read that Sony and Marvel had ended their partnership, which began all the way back in 2015 with Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal coming to a partnership, a shared deal with a finite finishing point for Spider-Man. The same time in August was a time when the previous contract was ending, and Marvel wanted to renegotiate to the song of a 50-50 co-finance stake between boardroom walkouts, social media feints, leaks, and whatnot. Fans, well, not all, I didn't believe it, were led to believe a contract re-signing was dead in the water. And then, in the middle of September, Sony sold off a Valiant Entertainment property called Harbinger to Paramount. And then this week, news is out that they also wanted to unload their long-gestating Masters of the Universe project to Netflix. It looks like they're selling off IP. They need a cash infusion once again, just like they did back in 2015. And then at the end of September, the negotiations, incorrectly portrayed by most, mind you, reached a conclusion and the 2 studios reached a partnership agreement. While the entire terms of the deal were not disclosed, we did learn that Spider-Man would have a 3rd film, pin in that, we'll come back to it, on July 16th of 2021, and he's reserved for an undisclosed MCU film. Disney also got a 25% equity stake in all Spider-Man IP. Kevin Feige in the release statement said, "We've had a great collaboration over the last 4 years, and our mutual desire to continue was equal to that of the many fans. We're delighted to be moving forward." The PR spin was that Tom Holland as Spider-Man was integral to the deal, but I doubt he was anywhere near that boardroom when that was signed. Anyways, apparently the co-financing terms were part of the rub and the holdup. Currently, Sony has a Morbius film in post. Venom 2 is on the way. After the massive success of Into the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord and Chris Miller signed a 5-year, 9-figure deal for multiple film and TV properties, and so Into the Spider-Verse 2 and a Spider-Gwen spin-off film are in the works from them. They've also announced and quickly faded a Madame Web film and other things like Silk and Silver Sable. There was Jackpot at one time, Night Watch. They've all been announced at one point and faded into obscurity. Amy has also said that she's waiting for Drew Goddard to say yes to move forward with his Sinister Six film, a film that was supposed to spin off of Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 2-parter. It's going to be part of that world that we're going to build out. Sony seems to want to get too far ahead too fast, and that always bites them in the butt. They did it with Spider-Man 3, throwing too much in there, with the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, and now this, throwing all these ancillary characters at the wall to see what sticks. They don't know what to do, and they need some cash money. So how do you do that? A buyout. A Sony buyout has been talked about for a couple years. That's not new, and in fact, a hedge fund manager named Dan Loeb pitched them an entire presentation suggesting they sell off the entertainment division a few months ago. They're making movies to ramp up the PlayStation Network platform through streaming and film properties, and with this context, that makes sense. You sell off Sony Studios, you can still make films through your PSN arm. So here's where the scoop comes in. Mikey is hearing that Disney wants to buy the Spider-Man IP, all of it, for the princely sum of somewhere between $4 and $5 billion. TiVo at Lords of the Longbox actually corroborated this, but with another figure, $3 billion. It's up there. But why not sell the entire Sony pictures at once? The answer to that is that no one's going to pay that sum for one IP catalog other than Disney, the original owners, the ones who have an invested stake in their ongoing film franchise. No one. And Apple could still buy Sony if they did. The rights would revert back to Disney for free. If they sold off the entertainment division, it would be much cheaper for them to do so. But there's really no guarantee with that. That's outside of Disney's power. That's outside of their control. This is a guarantee. And remember, the Disney-Fox deal and the New Mutants films that were in development until the end, Dark Phoenix, Gambit, those other ones, until the ink is on the contract in the form of a signature, a company has to keep moving forward as if nothing has been signed. These things take years of planning, there's development on the film, sometimes it takes a decade or more, and if something falls through, the studio can't be left without anything in the pipeline, and that's the same case here. Also, that 25% got the contract bridge signed, and I call it a bridge because it's a short-term element to something potentially much longer, maybe much more permanent. That 25% is far from a majority, far from enough. Disney wants it all. Okay, the next part of the scoop is that Lords of the Longbox says that the Sinister Six could show up in a future Spider-Man film. Would they be taking the Drew Goddard project that's already written? Would it be something new? We already have most of these characters adapted. It's not going to be Spider-Man 3, which will most likely be Kraven with cameos by people we've seen before, Chameleon, maybe Prowler, but the Sinister Six would be developed for the 4th film. The third part of this synergistic release comes from 3 Buck Theater, and 3 Buck Theater says to build off of all of this, the reason for it, the reason they want Spider-Man back is that they want him to lead the Avengers in future films, which would leave Captain Marvel, and you've heard this in the news, Brie Larson was talking about how she came up to Kevin Feige multiple times. There was that money shot in Endgame with all of the females in there. They want Captain Marvel to lead an A-Force team. Brie Larson's contracts are for multiple films. She wants to be around, she wants to lead, she wants that all-women element, and Tom Holland is definitely willing to keep playing the role basically as long as he can. And with all that being said, the scoops are a wrap. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss all of our videos we upload just like this one every week. Links to 3 Buck and TiVo are in the description as well. Please check out their channels. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.